we are mildly interesting guys, and we talk about some stuff. So welcome to the podcast, we call it Joel the Podcast. It's Alex and it's Alex, here for Joel the Podcast. Hello everybody, I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Alex.
And this is our podcast, Joel.
Joel.
Well, so everyone, it finally happened. We finally made it as podcasters. So we'll try to. What was that?
We're famous.
We'll try to remember you all when we're rich. But we probably won't. So what happened was we received our first email from our avid listener, Greg. And it was actually my brother, Ben, who is here on the podcast with us today. Say hi, Ben.
Hello.
Who sent us the email. So this episode is a special edition. We're only talking about this email for the entire episode. So strap in. All right, so do you want to start off with our normal intro, or we're just foregoing that for this exciting event?
Oh man, I didn't even think about that. I was ready to go, but it feels wrong to not do the intro.
Yeah. So, all right, so I guess we'll do it. So first, I just wanted to remind everyone that Nathan does not owe me $1.
Correct?
And did we have another thing that we added recently?
Yeah.
What was it? I forgot.
I also forgot.
Were you analyzing a song?
No. That's way gone.
Nobody's emailed us a song to suggest which one we should talk about, which was our condition to continue doing that. It happened last week, right?
I think. Yeah.
So it's not uploaded.
I remember talking about, I remember saying, oh, remember before when we were talking about if we had a certain number of things in our intro, we would just stop the podcast.
Yeah.
And we finally added a second thing. So I guess I forgot what it was.
I remember that part of the conversation also. I just don't remember what the thing was.
So I guess it's gone. All right.
I'll look it up when I go to upload these episodes. And we'll add it in later.
We'll try and pick it up again next week, I guess.
Yep.
All right, so I guess other than that, Philadelphia sports update. The Eagles, we just won against the Redskins, keeping their playoff hopes alive. Now they are 7-7. So if they beat the Cowboys next week, then they clinch the division. Oh, actually, if the Cowboys lose today and then they beat the Cowboys next week, they clinch the division. And the Cowboys will probably lose today, given the fact that they're playing a winning team. So, all right, so that's that. The Sixers have continued to play well. They've won 12 of their last 14. They recently beat the Celtics and the Raptors, both big Eastern Conference contenders.
Yeah.
And they are now second in the conference behind Milwaukee. So things looking up for the Sixers. Flyers still not paying attention. I think they're in the first wild card right now as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Are the playoffs already happening, or is that just where they would be?
That's just where they would be. The NHL playoffs aren't for another several months.
Okay.
I think they're just before the NBA playoffs start, so which is in May or April.
All right. There we go.
So, yep. I think the last time we podcasted was after Purdue beat Northwestern. So they're right now they're playing. They're playing their first game since then against Nebraska. and I'm really just stalling until they put the score back up. Okay, it's 14-14 at the moment, with 8.5 minutes left in the first half.
I'm sure this is relevant to people who are going to listen to this after this is uploaded like a month from now.
Yep. Well, I mean, we have to keep the people as up to date as possible. I mean, I think you're missing that the main point of this podcast is for us to talk and record it, and we like to talk about this. So, but yes, you're absolutely right. Probably no one actually cares about that.
Yeah, it's actually a problem because I keep thinking, oh man, it's so great to have you on this podcast until I realize that I'll be the only one listening to this podcast after it's been recorded.
Actually, that was part of the email, right? So we'll discuss that a bit later.
Maybe Maelstrom will listen to it. Maelstrom, if you're listening, please email us, alexandalex@joelthepodcast@gmail.com, and let us know.
Yeah.
That's an at with an AT, not an at symbol. I had to think that through.
Yes. Yeah, I guess maybe we probably should have mentioned that at some point.
Everybody's been trying to email us, and they're just like,
Alex and Alex AT.
2 at signs in it.
Alex and Alex AT Joel the podcast dotcom @gmail.com. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not correct actually. There's no dotcom.
Oh, it's an actual period, right? Period com.
No, that's just not in the email. Alex and Alex
at Joel the podcast gmail. Oh no. Now everyone's gonna be sending it to the wrong email address. Alex and Alex AT Joel the podcast @gmail.com. There you go.
Yep.
So I think it's the first time I messed it up, so thanks, Ben. It's all your fault. All right, so I guess that's the end of our sports update. Oh, I just wanted to mention something that we haven't mentioned for 3 weeks, which is that David Blau, former Purdue quarterback, has been starting for the Detroit Lions. So yeah, I don't think he's been doing great, but at least I'm surprised he's in the NFL.
Good job, David.
Yeah. So anyway,
if you're listening, you know what to do. Please email us.
All right. So now on to the best thing that has ever happened to this podcast. Our first email. And that's including
our first email from a person that wasn't us or like Google or Patreon or something.
Right. And when I say best thing that's happened, I'm including us receiving $1 a month on Patreon.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's just I'm not even aware of how to receive that dollar. As far as I know, it's just kind of like nebulously in Patreon right now. As far as I'm concerned, it's probably just going to stay there forever.
Who joined your Patreon?
David from Purdue did. I guess there's David L from Shree's Lab.
Right.
So yeah, so he's been donating. So he gave us a cent a couple times. I think 3 times now. And the third time the message on Venmo was start a Patreon. And so we did. And so it turns out the minimum you can give on Patreon is $1 a month. So he's been donating to us $1 a month for a couple months now. So that is all right. So why don't you, Nathan, go ahead and read the email.
Well, I mean, we have the actual person who sent the email.
Oh yeah, Ben, you should read the email. Yeah, he's got to find his phone. Oh, so that could be a couple 20 minutes. So, all right, he found it. So, in the meantime, I'll be giving play-by-play of the Purdue game. So that's gonna be entertaining. Purdue has the ball. There's 13 seconds on the shot clock now. And they're passing it around. Here's a 3 from Boudreaux, and it missed it. Nebraska rebounded it.
All right, I've got the
All right, here's the email. Thank goodness.
Dear Alex and Alex, hi, this is Greg. I've become a huge fan of your podcast in the past week. I just want you guys to know you've gotten me through some tough times, waiting for my code to build. My Venmo tag is at Ben Medoff. Oh, you guys can also send me money, listeners.
I'll just do that right now.
And attached is proof that I have not punched a baby. You can tell because the baby is very much not punched. Just for reference, the attached picture is of a potato with 4 toothpicks in it as if they are arms and legs, a single googly eye, and a straw for a mouth.
And I just wanna say this on the podcast. That way, I'm forced to do it. I'm going to put that image as the video for this section while this email is being read, just so you all can see it as well.
Right. Also, a question I have for you guys is, if you were dropped off in a space station in the middle of a galactic civilization with no money and no transportation, what would you do? Also, if you were making a movie with a main character that starts in a situation like this, how would it go? Also, I tried to spread the goodness of this podcast by getting my coworker to listen to it, but he just listened to the first 10 minutes and got bored. How would you suggest I gather more followers into the unique fellowship that is this podcast fandom? P.S. I think in episode 18, Alex, aka Nathan, said he would get something special for the first person that emailed, so I want that too.
So,
Alright.
I first of all, I'm going to address that last bit. I listened to episode 18 and didn't
Was
find
it episode
anything.
17? See, there was some episode, I was too lazy to actually go look it up again, but there's some episode where you said you were going to write a transcript, and then you're like, oh, actually, if it's someone we know, I'm not actually going to write a transcript of this episode. So I'll get you something special, and I probably won't put much effort into it. I can go find it sometime later and then send the timestamp to you. So
Yeah,
you
that,
know.
Yeah, please do, because we both listened to it, and that's the episode with Shelby. Our only other episode with a guest, I guess, since we left Purdue. So,
right.
So yeah, we didn't. I don't know if we'd said email us one time on that episode.
No, we definitely did. I think at the end.
Okay. Well, anyway. Second thing second, I am Venmoing Ben 1 cent with publicly with the 4 line as not punching a baby. So
Congratulations, Ben, for winning our special
Yep.
prize.
I've just received 1 cent via Venmo.
so congratulations. So that offer is now closed for anyone who emails us. You will no longer receive 1 cent. All right, so let's get into the email. So, let me pull it up so I can know what I'm talking about. It's now 18-19. Purdue is losing, by the way, because I know all our listeners want regular updates on the game that they can easily look up the score of.
The game that's probably ended weeks ago at this point when you're listening.
Right. All right. He's become a huge fan of our podcast. First of all, thank you for listening to our podcast and actually liking it. I'm surprised that anyone liked it, I gotta say.
Episode 16 was bad.
All right. What was episode 16?
I think whatever the Patriots one was.
Oh, the New England
The
Patriots
2007
2007 season
Yes.
highlights.
That was mostly it was just stating of facts and really shallow commentary. So it was.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the input. I agree that was a terrible episode. All right. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Punching a baby. Let's see. All right. So I guess the main part of the email. If you were dropped off in a space station in the middle of a galactic civilization with no money and no transportation, what would you do? All right. What are your initial thoughts?
I would probably just die. I don't like. I'm not aware of. I have to assume that in this is it Okay, a galactic civilization. They probably don't speak English.
Right. So that was my first question. So can we communicate with them at all?
Yes, you can communicate with them.
All right.
Okay, in that case, I probably would not just die. I would attempt to explain my situation to somebody who looked friendly, I guess.
Right. I think this depends a lot. Like, does this civilization know about humans?
The civilization is humans.
It is humans.
Yep, it's set.
Oh.
It's supposed to be like a sci-fi future
Okay.
sort of kind of situation.
So I'm not like surprised that I'm on a space station.
No, there was actually supposed to be more background to the question, but I wanted to leave it more open-ended. If you want, do you want to hear the whole situation?
Yes, because I think there's more information needed to properly answer it.
Okay, so essentially, you were born on the planet Zerg. And
I don't think that's a real planet. I think it's called Planet Greg.
And your family was killed by the invasion of some other galactic civilization. Well, actually, I guess that wouldn't make them a part galactic civilization. And you are then abducted by pirates.
So were the pirates the ones who killed my family?
Yes, the pirates killed
Okay.
your family.
Are they like space pirates, or are they just like in boats on the one planet?
They're space pirates.
Are they also human?
Yes.
All right.
There are no aliens in this.
All right.
In this
Sure.
proposed universe, it's just competing human factions.
Sure. All right. Continue.
Then.
By the way, I want everyone to know that his hands are just just in front of him, like palms down, just like as if he's explaining something, but he's not moving them. They're just kind of sitting there like this. So I just wanted everyone to know that. Anyway, continue.
Right. And the pirates don't actually want to raise you, so they just drop you off in this space station. The space station is a station that orbits a planet essentially, and so the idea is that you kind of just have to come up, survive somehow, and then what would you do? I mean,
Right.
And then the reason why the second question exists is because when I was actually talking about this with my friend, we both came out with really boring answers because it was just like I'd try to get to the planet and then just live my life normally.
Right.
So that's why the second part exists, to make it more interesting.
Right. So how old are we in this scenario?
Actually, that was also specified. It was 18.
Okay. All right. So we're 18. Do we have any marketable skills or?
Is it
No.
like us at 18 or
you're
a
not
hypothetical
specifically
person?
weak or specifically terrible at things, but you're not you have no specializations or anything to speak of.
What were you saying, Nathan?
I want to know if it was I guess maybe that just answered my question. Are we talking about me specifically at 18 or just a hypothetical person at 18?
Yeah, hypothetical person.
Okay.
So right. So yeah, I guess I have no money, so
Yeah.
I don't know. That's I guess you're right. The first thing I would try to do is probably get back home to my home planet. Because that's where all my stuff is, and it's a place for me to live.
Right.
So I guess how would I get there? That's the tough part. I wonder if there's hitchhikers in this civilization. I guess the most realistic thing is probably to just agree to work off your debt from.
You don't have a debt.
Well, you'll have a debt when someone agrees to take you back to your home planet.
Okay.
You get someone to take you back and agree to work for them in order to pay for it. So yeah, I guess that's a good point. What I would do in that situation is go back and then just kind of probably just live my life. I mean, if I have no skills really, I assume I would have some friends, so I would probably try and see them again. But if I had no skills, I would probably, try to get some at least. I don't know what the college situation is in this futuristic scenario. But, yeah. What about you, Nathan?
So my initial thought is, how do you get revenge on these pirates?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
Right? Like,
So let me ask you this. So that's an excellent premise for the movie version of this.
right.
Would you personally try to get revenge on the pirates?
So no,
Okay.
maybe.
Very straight answer.
Yeah, I mean, so the pirates killed my parents and then kidnapped me and dropped
Why
me
did the
off on
pirates
this.
Why did the pirates abduct me?
What happened was they like killed your parents, and then you were just like sitting there, and then they felt bad about you, and so they just took you. But then later they realized, wait a minute, I don't actually want to take care of this kid, and they just
So they
dropped
felt
you
bad for
somewhere.
me, so they abducted me and then put me onto a random space station with no money.
Yeah, just don't think about it too hard.
All right, sure. I'm just gonna assume these pirates are malicious, but like not that malicious. So they had a feud against my parents for some reason, but they only wanted to inconvenience me, so they. Yeah, I'm just gonna assume that's the scenario. So, yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I guess I was leaving out the part where I'd be really sad and depressed because my parents were killed.
Right.
I wonder if that would change anything. I don't know. It's honestly hard for me to imagine something like that.
Is there like a long period of time between, like, is it day one?
It's about 1 month from when your parents were killed to when you were dropped off in the space station.
So I lived
So you're
with the
just hanging out
pirates,
with the
killed my
pirates
parents
for a
for
month.
1 month.
Well, you mostly just sat in a brig and were given food, but
So they captured me because they felt bad for me.
Well, I mean, like, I mean, it's not like maybe it's just a
All right,
locked
right.
room, okay?
Oh, never mind. I'm not captured. I'm just sitting in a locked room.
So I think that's
Of
actually
my own
that's actually-
volition. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's not exactly like you. I guess you.
There's an important. I think I would do this during that month. Try and learn about the pirates to figure out why they had done all this.
Right.
And then afterwards, if I did decide that I should try and exact my revenge on the pirates,
Well, there was a war going on, and your parents were in some important government role, and so they were hired by the opposing faction to assassinate your parents.
The pirates were hired to assassinate my parents.
Nope, they're very diverse in their abilities, pirates.
All right. So,
I
all
feel
right.
like this question really wasn't asked correctly at all in the beginning. We've diverged so much from the original.
All right. So I think we need to move on to the more interesting part of this question, which is going to be the movie part. So, right. So the premise is it's the future. The humans have spread across the galaxy, or I guess multiple galaxies based on the question. And by the way, halftime, Nebraska 34, Purdue 23. So,
Yikes.
yeah. So, right. So, I don't know. I just lost my entire train of thought. Right. So pirates hired by my parents, who are high-ranking government officials, to kill the parents. So they do, and they also kidnap me. All right. Let's say we're gonna change the scenario a little bit. The pirates kidnap me because they're gonna, I don't know, sell me as a slave or something. Actually, that's a much better plot. Let's just say the pirates sell me as a slave instead of just dropping me off at a space station. So, or I guess it's not me. It's our main character in this movie. So All right, what should our main character's name be?
Joel.
Joel. All right, so Joel. This story is about Joel's, rise from slavery to take revenge on the pirates. Okay, sounds good. Yeah. All right, so I guess the initial part of his parents being killed and him being kidnapped would kind of be the opening scene / part.
Cold open, correct term for that.
I don't know if it's really a cold open because there's a whole bunch of movie stuff in the beginning, like
what?
Like the Columbia person holding the torch or whatever company decides to produce it. The Paramount with the stars going along the Fox with the or Universal with the sun coming up from around the earth with the.
Are you saying this movie is going to have all of those things, or?
I'm saying it's whichever of those things happens to be in it, that would happen first. It's not like as soon as the movie started, it would just be action.
Okay.
Or for humoristic effect, we just have all of those things. The Warner Bros. WB zoom past in through the middle of that. The Walden Media with the skips on the pond.
Oh, you have to.
We're gonna get sued so much for this episode.
You gotta have the Minions with Illumination.
Oh yeah, Illumination. We gotta have the Disney castle, the Pixar lamp jumping on the eye. It's just 30 minutes of studio intros before the movie starts. In the middle of the studio intros, there's just an animated short, like some movies have beforehand.
What's the animated short about?
I don't know. It's about fajitas. All right. We just throw a bunch of commercials in there. All right. So get Allstate. All right. So. They're not sponsoring us. We're just trying to get them to. All right. So I guess what happens is, right. So we open on. What do we open on? What's the actual first scene?
It's on the planet Greg when the pirates are breaking into the house clearly, or mansion because they're important government officials. And there's some firefight between the security personnel and the pirates.
So I get what you're going for here, but it makes no sense that the family has security in their house.
Oh no, they're high-ranking government officials. So
are they like the president? Because
no, they're more like
I don't think Congress. I don't think generals have a team of security personnel in their house.
I guess you're right. I don't know. I was just going for a
all right, so
sick action opening. With
so we don't want to establish anything. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. So I get what you're going for. All right, so so I guess what makes sense is it's the parents hiding. This is a much better open if the kid's a small child instead of a 18-year-old.
Well, we can do that. Right. We don't have to stick to the.
All right, Joel's a small child, maybe 8 or 9. And it's one of those classic movie scenes where the parents put him in some wardrobe or hidey hole somewhere, and they're like, "Don't make a sound," and then they inexplicably leave. I guess to fight or something. But it's the camera's just on the kid, but you hear the sounds of the fight in the background.
Yeah.
I gotta turn this off. It's halftime. It's too distracting. So you hear the sounds of the fight in the background, and then eventually the pirates open the door. Oh, what do we have here? And I think they should be stereotypical pirate voice, yar har stuff, even though they're space pirates.
They're all dressed like the pirates in
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that.
Yep. So It's actually just Johnny Depp in his Jack Sparrow costume who opens the door.
Every
turns out it's
pirate
actually-
is played
What?
by Johnny Depp in different costumes.
Yeah. No, I think it should literally just be Jack Sparrow, but it's never acknowledged that it's like Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just a character named Jack Sparrow who acts exactly like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, but he's a
Right.
space pirate.
Right.
So he opens his door like, what do we have here? And so he grabs the kid, and the kid's like crying, and he's carrying him out, and they walk past the corpses of the parents, and the kid's crying. And I feel like we need more substance to this scene.
And we need some foreshadowing or something that makes the scene worthwhile other than just setting it up. Like
Really, after he gets taken and walks past the corpses of his parents, there's not much else that needs to happen in this scene.
Well, it depends if you want. If instead of doing a revenge plot later, you could do like a fulfill his family's mission plot, and if that, you could have something in the scene showing what his parents did, so that they could so that he later goes and finishes that mission. But if you want to stick to the revenge plot, you can't really do that.
What do you think, Nathan?
I think it would make for a better movie if we did the mission thing.
Okay.
Like, that feels like more of a like part of the bigger picture thing rather than like this kid's important parents get killed and then he gets revenge on the pirates, and that's
Okay.
it.
Here's what it's going to be. His parents were doing something important, and then this happens, and he grows up wanting revenge on the pirates.
Yeah.
And as in like every single other like I don't know movie in a similar vein, he meets up with some like misfit person who has a completely unrelated goal. And then over the course of the movie, they grow together and realize that all along what they should have been doing is helping whatever cause the parents were trying to do.
So it's literally just Star Wars, except for the fact that Luke's parents weren't doing anything interesting.
Luke's parents were pretty interesting, I think.
Luke's foster parents weren't doing anything interesting.
Okay.
So then it's not at all like that, because
No, because Han Solo is sort of like the misfit person that you meet that has a different goal, and then he meets up with the rebels and they work together and fight and try to beat the Empire.
Yep, that is pretty much exactly it. Except that, yeah, I guess it's basically just exactly it. Except that
Joel, we make it just the revenge plot. There's literally like there's no substance to this movie. It's just like
there's no character growth whatsoever.
There's not even interesting. It just glorifies revenge. There's no interesting message about revenge.
It's a 1 hour movie. 30 minutes of it are studio intros and advertisements, and the other 30 minutes are just like him. It's like 10 minutes of intro and then 20 minutes of him just killing a bunch of bad guys.
All of whom are Johnny Depp.
Okay, so it's basically John Wick.
Right. With space pirates.
Yeah, and actually, as John Wick has shown us, you can have like way more than 20 minutes of killing bad guys and have it still be interesting. So, all right, so
Joel is played by Keanu Reeves.
And his whole goal is to kill Johnny Depp. And he just kills Johnny Depp. He just kills Johnny Depp in different characters, like over and over, like just like hundreds of different characters played by Johnny Depp. That's excellent.
I honestly kind of feel like the more detail we start to add to this plot, the less funny it's going to be. Because
you're exactly right. No, I'm with you there. I don't think we should go into too much detail, but I feel like one thing we should add is the whole movie feels like it's like leading up to some like final showdown.
Yeah.
And the end of the movie, he comes into the room and the guy's just like sitting there like, Joel, you finally just shoots him right in the head and the movie ends. All right. I guess that was shorter than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was that, like, once we realized it was just Star Wars, there was no reason to really just continue making Star Wars or a Star Wars ripoff.
Right. I feel like it was just funnier to throw in no character development and just have there being basically no plot.
Yeah,
Excuse me, either.
There's a YouTube channel called Terrible Writing Advice that basically just goes on different topics and just presents ways to do them so terribly. And so that's what it reminded me of a bit.
Right. All right. So I guess that's the end of that part. So I guess then the next question in the email is how to spread, like, increase our listenership.
Yes, like, as a listener, how can I?
Right.
Like, is there like a specific episode that people will really like? Because he just listened to the first one and.
Right. Well, so the thing is, I feel like you as our one listener would probably have the best perspective on what episodes are the best.
Right.
I feel like Would You Rather is definitely a quality episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, the thing is because this podcast relies a lot on self-referential humor, like a lot of the best parts are just like this, like the making fun of yourselves parts. But I feel like doesn't make as much sense if you're just listening to it for the first time.
Right. I mean, So I guess as our only fan, it's your job to build a list, like an order in which people should listen to them, and a list of episodes which no one should listen to ever. Like the Patriots episode. Yeah, I honestly feel like there's a number of episodes that are funny enough on their own that someone listening to the first time might be interested, and then once you listen to one and you're like, oh, they're kind of funny, I guess, then maybe get into the more, reference heavy ones.
You guys didn't like episode 15, which is the one where you went through all your previous episodes, but I really liked that episode, a lot, especially since I hadn't listened to, because essentially I listened through 1 through 5, and they were kind of like, it kind of like pittered off, and then Alex told me that episode 14 was good, so then I started episode 14, and I listened to episode 14 to, I think, episode 20 is the latest one that went on, so that's
oh, jeez. You're behind.
Yeah.
This is episode 26.
26, right?
Yeah, this is 26.
So listening to episode 15, I thought was pretty good, especially since I didn't hear like any, like, especially like you referenced one of the episodes, like you made like a movie about Hitler, and you just like completely skipped the episode in that episode because you thought it was so bad.
It was pretty bad. Okay, so we didn't make a movie about Hitler. We watched a movie about Hitler and reviewed it and talked about it. Yeah, that episode was not good. Add that to the list of ones you should not listen to. So yeah, Nathan, any advice on getting people to listen?
Yeah, I actually have a completely different angle that you can go at this with. Since we just, do this just to talk, basically, and are like this episode is the perfect example of how great it is when we actually get like a person giving us feedback about the stuff we're doing, aside from us just like talking to each other just cause. So I think the way to get people interested in our podcast is to have them email us at alexandalex@joltthepodcast@gmail.com and just suggest things for us to do, because we will do them. We'd be super excited if people were like,
are you willing to, if someone emails you, have them on the next podcast?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Assuming they're not weird.
Yeah, we probably should, like, interview them off the air first just to make
Yeah,
sure.
if a random person emails us, we're not just gonna Skype call them in right and they're like, all right, we're meeting you for the first time on this podcast. So don't say anything bad, I guess.
That would be kind of interesting, actually, but I think
I feel like it would be kind of awkward. Like, it's funny to think about as an idea, but it would just be really weird and awkward if we actually did it.
Yeah, but so like,
that's
going up to people and promoting, being like, hey, you should listen to this podcast. Also, you can email them and get on the next podcast.
Yes, but like, even I think Nathan's point is, in addition to that, you can also say, like, if you want them to talk about something, you just email them and they'll talk about it. Like,
ask us questions, or give us, like, listen to one of our bad episodes and then tell us why it's bad, and then we can, like,
no. I mean, the thing is, the bad episodes are bad because they're just super boring, is the thing. Like,
that's true.
They're really, like, when I say bad, it's like, sometimes when things are bad, it's like, oh, it's funny because of how bad they are.
Yeah, like in my opinion, I think the first episode is kind of like that. Like, because there's, like, so little effort put into it. And it's in a bowling alley with, like, all this sound in the background. It's actually kind of interesting, even though, like, from a podcast setting view, it's actually just kind of bad.
Right, so our bad episodes are just actually boring and bad, so you shouldn't listen to them. But yeah, listen to some of our episodes where, like, I honestly don't know, like, our movie episodes, like, I guess none of our, I guess none of our, like, we weren't able to record any of the good parts of the movie on the tour, and right. I don't think any of the movie of that we've been talking about for the last few weeks is released, so you wouldn't know what we're talking about. But
you still haven't posted the live at
oh
STS
man
one yet or whatever.
Yeah. So
that was your 25th pod. Did you actually succeed in making your 25th podcast?
No, as you can tell from this is 26.
Oh, yes.
We did not succeed. I think that was like 23 or something.
22 was the world tour.
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. That's literally the best name.
Yeah. So that was my my response to this question was, like, we are so, like, if you like a popular podcast and you want them to, like, personalize it to you, it's just not going to happen because
because it's so small. Instead of having a parasocial relationship, you can have an actual relationship.
Right.
So that's a good point. So you can get people to email us and tell us what they want to hear. And in 6 to 8 weeks, we will eventually get to it. They'll eventually release the episode where we talk about it.
Are you depressed and have no friends? Well, these people are so desperate that you can email them and they'll talk to you like you're their friend.
We should make an ad for our podcast, and that's the ad. In fact, we just made it. We're gonna snip that clip, and that's gonna be an ad for our podcast.
How much do YouTube ads cost?
No idea.
Probably more than we are willing to pay.
No, it's not. It's not. We are willing to pay. It's our Patreon patron. $1. How long do we need to wait before you can afford a YouTube ad?
Which will happen first? We accumulate enough money donated to purchase one YouTube ad, or we stop podcasting because it's been so long and we kind of just ran out of steam.
Right. I wonder if you can purchase, like, just one ad.
That only one person will see.
One time to one person.
Imagine being the one person who saw our ad. I doubt you can buy a one person one time ad.
Probably not. I imagine it would just get skipped immediately too.
Yeah.
On average, businesses pay a cost of 10 cents to 30 cents per view or action with an average $10 daily budget. That means every time someone views your ads or engages with your ad, like clicking on it on a call to action, you pay around 10 to 30 cents.
$10 daily budget, meaning...
I have no idea.
Oh, I guess it can't go over $10 a day, is what they're...
Yeah, I guess.
So...
Then they just stopped showing it for that day.
So in order to reach that for 1 month, we will just need to podcast receiving $1 a month for how long? Let's see.
There's probably like a minimum too. I have to see if there's like a minimum.
Only 310 months. So that's not very many.
10 months?
Well, yeah, I'm just thinking like if 31 days, $10 a day, that's $310, and we earn $1 a month. So in, I guess how many years is that? Is that like 30 years? So in 30 years,
It's only 26 years.
Holy, wow, all right. In 26 years, we will be purchasing our first ad for 1 month.
In 26 years, we will be almost 50 years old.
It doesn't actually...
Shit. I did not
We're
think
gonna
about
put
that.
one day of YouTube videos just before we turn 50.
Nice.
Yikes.
I think that just
Maybe
deserves
we'll
a
get
single
more. Maybe we'll get more patrons though, and really
Yeah.
speed up the process.
exponential. We're down from 26 years to 16 years. This is amazing.
Actually, I mean, it does like if we were like a proper business and like any good at this, that would be a decent strategy because this doesn't cost anything to do.
Yeah, we
So
don't
we
make
just
any
put-
money either.
We could put all of our income into
Dude,
ads.
$1 a month.
You
Right.
just invest entirely in growing your subscriber count.
And
And
we
then
never
eventually-
actually take the money for ourselves. We just keep investing them. And what we'll eventually do is if we ever got really successful and it was like kind of diminishing returns to advertise, we
Yeah.
would just have to start doing random crap with a bunch of money. Like what's that YouTuber that you like that'll just like be like,
Oh, Mr. Beast. I don't watch Mr. Beast.
well,
that
whatever.
often,
There's
but-
some YouTuber who
yeah,
would like
Mr. Beast.
he would just like he would be like, this is a video of me like giving away $10,000 to random strangers because he just had to use the money that
It
he
actually,
made.
it's actually a fairly popular yeah. People do that a lot for clickbait now, so that's lame.
Video of them giving away $10,000 to random
Well,
strangers.
the thing is, all you have to do is get a sponsor for your video that will pay you like if you're large enough, they'll pay you like a lot of money for your video, and then just use half of it and give it away, and then you still made a ton of money.
I think we need to get sponsored by Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Right. So here, that actually is another is related at least to another idea I had this week. Should we just start giving our videos really clickbaity titles that have nothing to do with the content?
Please don't. I actually would have to stop listening to them on principle if you did.
All right, see, this is the kind of quality feedback we need from our fans.
Right, because if it was just me and Alex, we probably would have laughed about how we could just start naming all of our videos like
Top 10 epic fails. Number 7 will shock you. And then there's nothing about that in the
You have to
episode.
make sure you get the red circle and the arrow in the thumbnail. That's the word.
Oh, right. Like our faces, like amazed face. Yeah,
all right, but apparently that's a bad idea. This is the kind of feedback we need.
exactly.
If you've been listening and holding it all in, please email us at alexandalex@joelthepodcast. That's Alex and Alex at Joel the Podcast.
At
At
gmail.com. Absolutely.
I'm
Right.
expecting the day after I upload this video, I'm expecting emails to just start pouring in from all of the people who have been misspelling our email address.
I cannot wait. Turns out we've been secretly successful all along, and people thought it was like a gimmick that we kept saying we've never received an email. Because they were like, I've been sending him so many emails.
I suspect that we are genuinely not successful though, because I think we still only have 7 subscribers.
Well, that's certainly possible.
Do you think it's possible that this podcast will ever reach a self-referential singularity?
What do you mean, where we just spend the whole time referencing?
Yeah, like you just seem to, as they go on, you just add more and more.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I feel like we don't make self-references now much more than we did like 5 episodes or even like 8 or 10 episodes ago. We were still referencing the whole, email us. I can't believe it's a joke to say, like, email, like, promoting our podcast is a joke. Anyway. But yeah, I feel like we were still that's like the main self-referential joke, and we were still making that like 10 episodes ago. So I feel like we haven't really added too much self-referential humor as time went on. But I guess, like, if we do enough, eventually it'll just be, like, completely, like, some act like 50% actual content, 15% us referencing previous episodes.
Yeah.
Can you believe that he didn't punch a baby?
If that ever happens, we need to just quit.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's the end of the email. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Is there anything else you wanted us to talk about, Ben?
No.
No?
Not that I thought of.
Anything else you have to say, Nathan?
I don't know. We didn't decide to do anything else, so.
All right. Well, I guess this will be a short episode. I guess you're welcome to everyone who, was like, oh, this is going to be another long. Yeah, you're welcome for everyone for making this a short episode. What?
Not that short.
Well, it's shorter. It's the shortest episode so far, I think.
That's definitely
not
the case. You had like a 20-something minute.
Oh yeah. We had the one before we went to see Avengers. We're at 50, approaching 52 minutes here. So.
Oh yeah, that's actually that would currently be our 5th or 6th shortest episode.
Okay, so on the shorter side, but not unheard of.
Right.
All right.
The more we analyze how it compares with our other times, the more average.
Yes, it'll be the 5th or 6th shortest, and what ranking as far as longest episode would it be?
Well, if I'm doing my math correctly, which, what did we say? This is 26?
Yep.
Suppose it would be the 20th longest episode.
Oh man, I was expecting that to take longer. I was expecting you to count all the episodes that were longer. All right. So yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been Joel.
Joel.